Hello travel team, it's Richard, your favorite design lead here. Today's video is going to be about travel tips slash warnings for manufacturing. I promise that this will be shorter than the last video. I'm aiming for it to be under 10 minutes and it's specifically targeted towards the manufacturing side of things. Timestamps will be along the side of the video or in the description. Engineering leads, you should have a small notebook for Thailand, and if you have that already, then please take notes on this video. It will save you so much time and stress. Otherwise, if you don't have it yet, just make sure that you guys take notes somewhere. So jumping into my first point is to get there 3 to 5 business days early. Brief story time, last year we got to Thailand on a Friday, and that was technically 3 days before the program started, but I would argue that they were the 3 most useless days because businesses and shops aren't open on Saturdays and Sundays. So leads, you guys have a responsibility of getting things in order before the trip. So this includes safety equipment, tape measures, calipers, nuts, and bolts. You can definitely hand off some of these to Purple Lab, but it's good to find time to go to a hardware store and pick up these items. Zip ties are also great, and I got a lot of shit about this last year, but honestly, they are so useful. I would definitely recommend picking up some zip ties. Most importantly, go to a 7-Eleven and get data for your mobile phone. You will need data to message people later on the Line messaging app or on Messenger. And it's also really important to geotag your pictures with, but I'll talk about this more later. This is also an opportunity to take care of printing things, but I'll also talk about this more later. And finally, this year, we should try to coordinate with Purple Lab to see if we can get in our manufacturing plans earlier to the manufacturers, although this might not be possible because they might be busy with finals. So that's all for point 1. Moving on to point 2, I'm going to talk a little bit about the options that you have for manufacturing both on campus and off campus. Starting with off campus, you've got 2 places that you can go to that we've discovered so far. You got the lathe and the water jet. And so it's probably easier to just show you guys some pictures of both of these places. This is an example of the types of lathes that they have. You'll see that there's no digital readout, and so your precision up to 3 decimal places is probably not going to be pretty great at all. Although the person is pretty talented, the boss who runs this place is really good at what he does. You can expect him to cut angles in your prototype to the exact precision that you really want. So that's the first place that I want to bring up. The second place is this water jetting place, which is a little more modern manufacturing. You can give them either an STL file or SOLIDWORKS file. So bring your flash drive and your laptop. And from personal experience, it's definitely better to bring your laptop, just because if they save the file type incorrectly before on your flash drive, then you're sort of stuck. Whereas if you had your laptop, you have a lot more flexibility and you can save the file to a different file extension. Also, make sure that you guys bring a mouse or a wireless mouse, just so that you don't have to fuck around with the trackpad when you're actually trying to rotate your part in SOLIDWORKS or anything. Let's talk about on campus. On campus, you potentially have 3D printing, but you should definitely get the Thai students to hook you up earlier rather than later. I think that last year they put other printing jobs on hold to make our printing jobs, which was super duper lucky and obviously not something that we should count on. About welding, last year we got really lucky and found some dude just working in the shop who was nice enough to weld things for us. So again, do not assume that we will have welding unless we plan for it several days in advance. Moving on to my third point, which is bringing manufacturing drawings and plans and convert to metric. So plans are to jog your own memory when explaining to Thai students or the manufacturer. So in that sense, don't worry about the semantics. Don't worry about following a specific format as long as it helps you explain the part to other people. Please remember to print manufacturing drawings in metric, preferably before arriving to Thailand. And if this falls through, the printing shop only opens later in the day. I remember me and Kwan tried going there at 8 a.m. and it was closed, So it is pretty unlikely that you can print before the program starts or the day starts at like 9 a.m. When you actually get there and need to open your file on their computers, I believe that you could use Google Drive, but flash drive is probably easiest. So number 4, make sure you guys take pictures and geotag them. And so I'm going to go through some examples. Again, this is from the manufacturing plant, and you can see that under info, we have the location of the manufacturing plants for all of these pictures, yeah? And same thing with the lathe place over here. We have, if you take a picture, your phone, either, I'm pretty sure on Android and on iOS can geotag them, but I'm not sure if it works offline without data. And so that's why I recommended that everyone take care of data before actually arriving in Thailand. So a little more information on data. They have a few different packages that you guys can buy. I personally wouldn't go for the unlimited messaging package, and I would just cough up the extra money to get 2 gigs of data and just refresh that as it runs out. Maybe this sounds like gibberish for now, but this will make more sense once you guys actually end up shopping at the 7-Eleven to buy the data. So if you're a little lost, don't worry about it. I would record this inside your notebook, and then you'll understand what I'm saying once you actually get there. Moving on to my last point, which is a warning about Thai cultures and specifically their work days. So Thai people have a few rules that clash with how we do things in the US. The first thing that I want to remind you guys is that you must break for lunch. This is mandatory, and I personally really hated it since I normally eat lunch at absurd hours because I hate putting things on hold just to eat food. But it is a big deal for the Thai students, so you should not, under any circumstances, put their lunch on hold. Basically, once it hits 12 p.m., you have to pause your work and eat. Second, you cannot hold the Thai students after the program is over. And I believe it ended at 6 last year in 2019. I'll talk about this culture a little bit more later, but Thai students don't usually speak up when we do something that bothers them. So we need to remind them that they do not have to stay if they do not want to. Even though we will easily have a 15-hour workday, we do not hold Thai students to the same expectation. So lastly, what I understand about Thai culture is that they're not exactly direct towards people. This means that they might not choose to speak up for themselves when we do something that they find disrespectful. And so as a result, they might harbor a lot of negative feelings towards us that they're not comfortable with sharing. So it's up to us to recognize the cultural differences so that we don't trigger any Thai people while we're there and jeopardize our relationship. Okay, so that was my last point 5. To wrap up, maybe this video seems sort of aggressive at times or like I was really animated, but it's because I personally made several of these mistakes that I hope are never repeated, and I definitely want you guys to make new mistakes. I want to end with some words of encouragement though. Inevitably, things are going to get fucked up. That's just the nature of our work. Every night, our team gives up a lot of sleep to plan the following day, literally hour by hour. But I can't actually think of a time when things actually went according to plan. And I'm not saying this to discourage planning, but actually quite the opposite. Plan thoroughly, and even when things don't go according to plan, you or someone else on the team will have an easier time coming up with contingencies. And finally, even if there are a few hiccups, you just have to pick yourself and others back up. So, to reassure you guys, just have a little faith in the system and in the design process, and have faith that things will work out. Trust in yourself and in your team. I know that personally, the first Maechan trip was a really emotional period for me. I actually fucking cried in the resort room after the Brie team was eliminated and I can't really put into into words how much I appreciated having Quan as my roommate at that moment. I think the quality that I want our team to inherit the most, and that I'm scared of losing as our team really grows, is really saying that we're more than just teammates or friends, but really like a second family. Shared trauma really does some fucked up shit to you. I think me and Veronica, excuse me, we're both on Debris, and now I talk to Veronica nearly every single day in GG Brown. So, shared trauma really just brings people together. Like a family, there will be times when you can't deal with other people's bullshit. That's like just a product of the environment. I mean, it's bad enough that we're always hanging out with each other, but it's hot as balls outside constantly. But really, in the times that it matters, I trust that you guys will be able to lean on one another. So I know that was super cheesy, but I have confidence that you guys are going to make this a great trip. So try and have some fun, and I'll see you guys in the next video.